Okay, we're gonna try this again, round two. I started a video and then my phone was up and I don't know what happened. Had to restart the phone. So we restarted the video. I deleted the other one. So we're gonna start from the beginning. So I'm coming to you today because I wanted to share with you the events of this last week, probably the last 2 weeks even, because it's been one of those that's really stressful and really, I got so frustrated and angry this last week, but it's all come back together and everything is good. So we were just outside of New Orleans and we got here a few days before New Year's. Now we got here, got things set up at camp. The next day we went into New Orleans to just go experience the town, go down into the French quarters and just experience some of New Orleans for the day. So we pack up, we head down in the morning and we go and we have fun. It was a blast. End of the day, we come back, hop in the truck. We had an F-250 2005 diesel and we're headed home and I have to stop and get fuel. So we found a place that's 5 miles maybe from where we're camped, and I just pull in there, an easy pull off, pull on, stop, fuel up, and the truck won't start. We can't get it started. We're like, what the heck? So we're like, well, let's go over here to the Subway and eat. So, but first we gotta get it out of the way. So everybody jumps out of the truck and we all push the truck over to the parking over to the side. And we go over and we get us some Subway and spend some time. And I'm thinking, maybe sometimes they just need to sit a minute and they'll fire back up. I don't know. Just guessing here. So we go over and eat, spend about an hour. We come back to the truck. Man, I had drank some water and went down the wrong tube. Still coughing, apologize, but so anyway, we come back to the truck and it won't start still. We're trying it, and we're over in the parking lot. Everybody's in. I'm like, what's going on? And I don't know if these people, they saw, if I had the hood up and they saw, or what, or if they just saw our license plate, but this minivan pulls up next to us. And now it's a guy in a Utah Utes shirt. And we just laughed. I'm like, this guy's from Utah. And we're in New Orleans, Louisiana, and a fellow Utah person pulls up. Of course, he grew up in Utah, I believe, and now lives in Dallas. And they happen to be in that area and visiting people. And it was kind of funny. They're like, you need help? We're like, well, can you give us a ride back to camp and we'll figure things out tomorrow when it's daylight? They're like, yeah, we can. And so I go talk to the manager of the store and ask him if we could leave the truck there. He says, yes, I'll keep an eye on it. Leave the truck there. So we get a ride into town. And before these people showed up, my wife's on Uber, I think it was, trying to figure out how to get us a car and get us a ride there, or however that works. She was trying to figure out how to get us a ride back home. And when these people pull up, so she couldn't figure that out. She had also called the branch president of the church in that area, and he didn't answer. She left him a message. Utah Utes people pull up. Funny thing is, I remember the wife's name because her name was Jenica, and that's, of course, my second oldest daughter's name. And so it was kind of funny to these people from Utah, same name. They give us a ride back into camp, and we go to bed. Wake up the next morning, and I come back out there. Actually, the next morning was Sunday. We woke up the next morning, and the branch president had called back and asked if we needed help. And we're like, well, we got a ride back here. That's what we needed. And he says, well, you guys need a ride to church. And he's like, give me a few minutes and I'll find somebody to give you a ride to church. So he makes some phone calls, and a kid named Scott calls my wife on the phone, and they're talking, and of course wants to know what we're doing and why we're there, where we're from. Of course, we said Utah and we live in Nephi. He's like, oh, I'm from Ephraim. And of course he says, oh, my wife says, oh, my husband's from Fountain Green, went to North St. Pete. And he says, oh, my wife's from Spring City, which is 20 minutes away. We went to the same high school. And once he told me her name, Maggie, was Parnell. And I'm like, yeah, I know who that is. We went to high school together. We graduated together. And in fact, I was her escort at the junior prom. And so it was kind of funny how all that came together. We get a ride from, people that are familiar with us and people that we know. And so they come and show up, they pick us up, they haul us to church. And afterwards, they didn't bring us back home. They hauled us to their house and fed us. And talk about some awesome people. Once they're done, Scott turns to me, says, well, you need a car till you get this figured out. Hands me a key to one of their vehicles. He says, we've got an extra one. We don't need it. And I was just dumbfounded. I didn't even know what to say other than thanks. Yeah, we grew up, close and in the same neighborhood and have that same type of thought process of helping people. But it's just funny how it all comes together. And I was frustrated at the truck not working and wonder why. The family's stranded, and awesome people come to help us, and it was great. So the truck, we just barely got a new truck yesterday. It's the 14th. We had our truck hauled to the Ford dealership, and they went over it. They found the problems. They couldn't get parts till that weekend. And then anyway, it was a long process of getting the parts and things for the truck fixed. And they got it fired up. They got it running, but it still had problems. Once it was up to temperature, if you shut it off, it wouldn't start again. So either the oil pump was gone out, or injectors were gone out, or it could be something else, is what they determined. And either one of those was $2,000 just to try, because that's what it would take to replace it. So it was $2,000 for this. If that didn't work, $2,000 here. If that didn't work, I think the next one was, he's like, I don't even want to quote you that one. So I can't even imagine what it was. The parts we'd already put into it cost us over $5,000. So I'd put $5,000 into this truck just to get it running. And that's great. But if I shut it off after it's warmed up, we had to sit there at least an hour before I could get it started again. I'm like, this is not reliable. We cannot finish traveling the United States in this type of situation. We can't do it. Because what happens when we, I accidentally turn it off and we're stranded for an hour, or, maybe for some reason it stalls out. Sometimes vehicles just quit for some random reason, electrical bump, or I don't know. So I'm like, we need something else. We cannot be stranded somewhere in a bad situation. And so we started looking at used vehicles and new vehicles and all kinds of things. And because I don't actually have a job right now, everybody was saying, our financing said, nope, we can't do it. So at this point, I'm like, I'm fuming mad. I'm going on this depressed, what the heck are we going to do cycle. Things were just not good in my brains. And so I started waking up early in the morning and just going for a walk and a jog. 6 o'clock in the morning, get up, go for a jog, go for a walk. and listen to something good first thing in the morning. And so I've got an audiobook. I would just listen to this audiobook as I'd walk part of the time, jog part of the time. And some of the time, you know, maybe not listen to the audiobook, but I just tell myself, you know what, today I choose to be happy. Today I choose to be happy. And I would say this over and over and over. And, you know, and also you know what, things are going to work out. Don't worry, things are going to work out. So I'm down to, okay, we can't get a loan. Let's just fix the truck. Let's start with the injectors. One injector was starting to go out. Let's start there and pray that fixes it. So I take the truck in to talk to the Ford dealership and the mechanic. And as I'm talking to the mechanic, I've talked to him a bunch. He's like, well, hey, you said you like Dodge trucks. Come here. And so he takes me out to the back, and and they've got a 2014 Dodge truck in. It's perfect. It's just what we need. It's a 3500, a little bigger than, you know, I only cared about the 2500. I did want the diesel, but we come back here and looked at it. It's got, I'm gonna pull this off. It already had camo coverings, which was awesome. I just, as I looked at it, I'm like, you know what? I like it. Let me call my wife. So I called my wife. I said, we need to look at this. When can we come look at it? And by the way, it's Jenica's birthday that day. It's the 12th. And she's like, I'm coming down right now. So we come down here, and the sales lady we'd been talking to before, she's like, oh, I'm going to show you this, but oh man, you guys are going to be embarrassed because it's dirty and it's got camouflage seat covers. And my wife just laughs because she's like, you know what? I love the camouflage seat covers. We fell in love with the truck. And we looked at each other and we're like, hey, why don't you take it for a test drive? So hand me the keys. We drove around the block, and out of all the vehicles we drove, the brand new ones, some old ones, the vehicles we drove, this one felt good. It felt natural. It felt like this is what we needed. And so then we proceeded, okay, how much is it? And so we started figuring out, how are we going to make this work? They wanted $28,000 for it. And so we started working a trade to trade the other truck in. And she says, you know what? If you've got a good credit score, I will get you the money. Don't worry about that. I'm like, okay, I don't believe you, but you know what? If you can get me the money, get me the truck, we'll take it. And I'll be darned, that was Saturday. We are in the truck Monday night. She had everything done. We went in, signed the papers, brought the truck home last night, and I think this is going to work perfectly for us. This is awesome. So, you want to be on the live show?
Hi.
We're telling them about the truck.
Cool. Mom's done.
Mom's done?
Yeah.
How do you like this truck?
I like it.
You like it better than the red Rusty? Crusty?
Yeah.
I called him Crusty.
Crusty Rusty.
So I called the other one Crusty. They called him Rusty. This one, I think, it's got a shell on it. I'm going to wrap this up real quick, but it's got a shell on the back, which will help keep things nicer. You know, we've got, I don't have a whole lot back, but actually it's clear full. We got the generator, the Traeger we had to have, and then the toolbox has a few things in it, not a whole lot. Of course, the tables, but we are actually excited about this truck. Let me flip this camera around. Yep, we're going to call this the Turtle because it has a shell, but it seemed to hook up to the trailer nice. Everything, the trailer seems to be level. I have it hooked up now. And so we are now going to venture out. This is a 2014 Ram 3500 heavy duty. So we're loving it.
Good one.
Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I wanted to share those experiences out there because there are people out there in the world that can help make the difference between having a terrible time or having a good time. And if you run into people like that, people that are stranded, people that need help, I encourage you to go out of your way to help them. It has meant the world to us to be able to know that we had a vehicle to get around in for the last 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks that they shared their vehicle with us. And you know, Maggie and Scott, I can't thank you guys enough for what you did for us. It's just, you can't even describe it. So thank you very much. But once again, if you guys can help people out that are in need, you know, maybe it's not giving them a vehicle, but maybe feeding them or whatever it is, you know, do that kind service that we typically see on Christmas. Get out there and just help people that are in need. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. That helps us out. Watch the videos clear through, like the videos, and even comment on the videos. Some of your thoughts of the video, any videos I do. A lot of them are done so that it'll help us remember our time on this awesome adventure. But also I want it to be able to share with you guys so that you guys can see some of the cool places we've seen and maybe inspire you to actually get out, travel, see places, and experience this world. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to sign off now, if I can figure out how. Maybe this button.